What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And for the millionth time, I'm joined by Joe Day and EP Eric Pahowick. How you doing, guys?
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
If you
for
don't,
the millionth
you know.
time.
How's it going, boys?
I didn't say cleaned or pressed in that intro at all.
No.
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you?
No, I don't know. Nobody ever asked me how I'm doing.
That's actually a good point. No one ever does ask.
Like, I don't have an answer for that.
I'm doing well. I'm a week clean, a week sober. I have coffee today. Just coffee.
Wow.
I actually there's something we're going to talk about, and someone may come up while we're talking about it. I was going to jokingly have an emergency beer here, crack it in case of emergency. But I actually have to take Bailey to get groomed after this. I prefer not to have like an 11% beer before. She's precious cargo, so I got to make sure that I'm not tipsy driving Bailey to the groomer.
Yeah, right. They make beers that aren't 11%, right? Like they're out there. You can get them.
There are beers you could actually drink one of and still be fine.
Yeah, this is 6%. And it's delicious. It's great.
It seems, I don't know, like a waste of room in my stomach at that point. Like this is some prime real estate here, EP. I gotta, if I'm really gonna jam in the calories,
if you're gonna put that stuff in your temple. If you're gonna put that stuff in your temple, you want it to be the 11% stuff, right?
Exactly.
Like, in his temple.
Well, your body's your temple,
Hey,
So
Yep.
How's it going, EP?
I'm doing great. I'm house sitting for a family friend, so I haven't done like any card stuff at all week, but except for recording extra innings, which I managed to get in just under the gun. So they're
you slid into first on that one, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, big time.
Bottom of the 12, you just slid right into first.
Yep. But I'm having a great time. They got three dogs. They're freaking awesome. So just good stuff.
I have 3 dogs. Do you want to house sit for me for free?
Sure. For
Anytime?
free? I don't know.
Why not?
Free. Yours is so far away. This is like 10 minutes away.
I'm literally no more than 10 minutes away, too. I
Time
drive there every single day. Except like all those days I don't work. But anyway, so we're here for another podcast. Who knows what we're going to talk about today, but
can we talk about cards?
No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
I was
speaking of talking about cards,
a little bit, but
I have a call to action for the viewers out there because we want to do another episode, a Q&A episode of the Wednesday show. So we need you to send us your questions you have for us. I don't care what it is. It could be about cards. It could be about life. It could be not about Star Trek, please. We've had
all Star Trek.
Definitely Star Trek.
I'm considering doing a spin-off Star Trek channel.
That would be way better than doing it here all the time. But
if you guys could just put only Star Trek questions down below.
Don't encourage that kind of behavior. I will delete those comments.
Pepper in some James Bond. Put those in there too.
I quit. Can I quit the show? Am I allowed to quit?
We don't have the background ready for you to quit, Mike. We've talked about this. For a 2-man show, we need the background set up.
So I'm stuck here for like another 50 minutes. Fantastic. But all seriousness, drop us some questions in the comments below. We need to do this, build it up for a couple weeks so we can do a show about it because they're fun, aren't they? Don't you want to know more about us?
No. And we love talking about it. Oh, believe me, the stories I could tell.
Yeah.
You definitely want to ask
me questions. Don't dig too deep with Joe. But so leave us the questions in the comments below. Joe, what do you have going on this week? Anything new and exciting?
Ask me anything you want to know, everyone. Anything.
Don't do it.
I've lived a glorious long life. Ask me anything. What do I have? I have stuff. So speaking of Star Trek, thank you for bringing that up, Mike. So last week I did a recap video of Picard seasons 2 and 3 on the channel. Anyone who is interested in a base set of Picard season 2 and 3, leave a comment on that video.
You're giving it away.
I'm giving it away. Giveaway even. So yeah, leave a comment. All you have to do, like the video, obviously be a subscriber, and comment who your favorite TNG character is. So except for Wesley Crusher, you will be disqualified. That's all I say. And on a rare Joe Day complimenting something or someone he does not like, I'm going to compliment PSA. You boys ready? I'm going to compliment PSA.
Okay.
Who is this? Who is this person?
So Picard
it has to be a bit. It has to be a bit.
Not even close. Picard season 2 and 3, the Patrick Stewart auto. I did pull one. I might have bought some other stuff. Whatever. But so that the Patrick Stewart autos are oversized autos. They're 3.5 by 5 inches. Okay. Really, really cool cards. I think it's like an age thing that, Patrick Stewart's almost 90 years old at this point. I think they're giving him, unless he's signing Peace Stew, which apparently Leaf is trying to pass off as Patrick Stewart autographs, but I digress. Anyway, I reached out to SGC to ask them how they do their oversized cards, how they slab those. The response wasn't up to SGC customer service standards. I was actually kind of bummed out about it. They were very nice, but they left me more confused than they answered anything. So I also, at that point, reached out to PSA. I actually kind of like their oversized slabs. And I reached out to PSA customer service. Phenomenal. They got back to me right away. I had 2 or 3 follow-up questions. Phenomenal. I'm thinking, tinfoil hat, I'm thinking there was a trade made.
Mm-hmm.
All the SGC customer service people went to PSA, and then PSA put their stinkers down in the minors, right? So, or maybe there was a training thing. I don't know. But PSA's customer service, which has not, Nat Turner's great on social media. He's helped you out before, Mike. But just in general, people don't love their customer service. I had a great experience, and I just wanted to throw it out there because I never say nice things about PSA. So I'm going to throw that out there. Their customer service, this instance, was very good.
Do you think maybe they have go ahead, Mike. I was just saying, do you think maybe they have a little note on your account saying this is the guy that we held his cards for 7 years, his one order for 7 years.
So just respond to the poor guy.
Treat this guy right. Start treating this guy right.
That'd be hysterical if true. But no, I think I just got the right person on the right day, to be honest.
When you were saying that, I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, oh, clearly they took the customer service people from
part of the
SGC
contract
and flipped. Yeah. Oh, well, that'll be interesting. But yeah, SGC, what's going on?
Yeah, and I even tweeted at them. I tweeted at them, not complaining about the customer service, saying I was a little confused about the response. How do you handle oversized cards and what slabs you use? No response from SGC on Twitter either. So I don't know. Maybe because they're collector universe people now, they think, we don't have to deal with these common folk.
Peter, you owe him a call.
Yeah, Peter.
Call, Peter.
Or Peter, come on 8 questions. Peter, we'll have you on 8 questions instead. That'll be
the podcast and
the
Wednesday show.
Yeah.
Maybe even rip a box of Star Trek with Joe.
Man, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But that's all I have at the top of the show, Michael.
Okay. What's new with you, EP? Nothing.
Oh, nothing. Nothing exciting. I got nothing. I sold 3 things on eBay this week. 3 cards for $1.65. So that was
nice.
I haven't shipped them yet. But no, $1.65 each.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow. So you made $1.
Now it's been a slow week. Not a terrible thing, but I'll get back into some card stuff next week for sure.
eBay is so like I was saying to you guys before we recorded, the last 2 weeks, I think I sold $20 worth of stuff on eBay. That's it, right? 20 total dollars, which EP, I know that's a good week for you, but because of those $1.65 cards. But this week it was a ridiculous, just people, and I had a ton of people watching stuff this week. I don't know what changed, but it just some days you hit the algorithm. I don't know. I sold a lot this week, which was kind of overwhelming. Like you complain that you don't sell something, and then you see like this, ship 7 things. I'm like, oh God, I have overtime. I don't have time to be shipping this stuff, but I want to get it out, so I do.
I think I only sold 1 card on eBay this week. I did sell that short print out of Big League that I got at Ken Griffey Jr.
Nice.
EP. So I got
Your asking price
for that one. I think I got 80. 80?
Nice.
Or did I get 90 for it? I think it was 90 actually.
If it was 90, that's hoodie money. 80, no, but 90.
Oh, it was 80. It was definitely 80 then. Yeah.
You got 2 boxes, right? So that pays for the boxes, right? Pretty
close to it, yeah. Not bad. So, yeah, but I have. Go figure. I'm running another stack sale. So, if you're watching, if you love retro football, dude, check me out on Twitter. Starting Thursday night with the NFL draft, I'm running my draft stack sale. And yes, this is a shameless plug, but the cards I have for this sale are like unlike anything I've had for any of my other sales. I bought that football card collection I've talked about. It was such a fantastic collection. And this is going to sound really dumb, but like, I feel like the person who had this collection and put it together and put all the time into it, like really deserves to have these cards go to people that really want them. I know, sounds sappy, sounds dumb, but like, I really feel that way. I don't know how many boxes, probably 50 or more, sorted by player alphabetically, each player sorted chronologically. Like the amount of time and care that went into this football card collection is mind-blowing. And like the cards that he has, and it had been picked through a couple times before, and I still found great stuff in it. And as a matter of fact, I have some of them here. Don't
go through them. You're doing your whole series. Aren't you doing a series? Or is this a taster? I thought you were doing a series on this.
Found in here.
Okay, all right.
I found a Jared Allen rookie card numbered out of 75. I found a Marshawn Lynch rookie refractor numbered out of 99. Look at that card. How beautiful is that card? Mm-hmm. I found this awesome Sean Taylor Legacy rookie card out of Flair. Yeah, that one is worth a little bit of money. And I also found another Sean Taylor numbered out of 100. And these are also all Sean Taylor rookies. Like it is
Are those
crazy.
In card savers? Are those in card savers, Mike, or top loaders?
No, they're all top loaders.
They should be in card savers, though.
Yeah, they should be in card
I'm
savers,
going to be going through and picking out stuff to grade because I feel like these cards were pulled out of a pack, put in a sleeve, put in the box. Like, okay, I need to put these in the Sean Taylor section. Like the cards are just fantastic condition. Like I'm so impressed by the work that the person that had this, like he cared about the cards that he had so much. Like this must have been such a huge part of his life from like the early 90s till like 2010 is about when it stops. And actually it has older stuff than that too. It had stuff from the 80s, but like a fantastic collection. And I'm going to start selling it off in my stack sale starting Thursday night. If you don't follow me on Twitter, if you're interested, do it. I'm at Mike's Upper Deck 1. So it might seem like a shameless plug, but I don't care because I feel like these cards need to go to people that appreciate them.
And if you're looking for anything on eBay, Panther 27.
Come on, Joe. Nobody knows about Panther 27.
Remember that video we did?
We did Panther 27 all over the place.
Yeah. Mike, do you think that the previous owner of that collection, did they open boxes and packs, or do you think they just acquired player cards? Or
I feel like they had to have opened box. Like there any player, like they had a huge section. Like even like Jerry Porter had a gigantic like
remember when he was going to be a thing.
Yeah, he probably had there are probably 300 cards of his in there, and like he's not the only one like that kind of player. So it had to have been somebody who just ripped and ripped and ripped and ripped.
Any West Virginia fans out there, get in touch with Mike for those Jerry Porter.
Oh my God. If you collect Jerry Porter, you are my hero. Please let me know. I'll give you a deal. But yeah, it was just, I had so many thoughts going through the collection, like taking me back to the shop days and like remembering pulling the same guys. Harvey Williams had a section, I had him on my fantasy football team.
Long neck Harvey.
Yeah. I had my own PC of him. I had binder pages of his rookie cards. A lot of it took me back to fantasy football and how many bad fantasy football draft picks there were over the years. Like I said,
most of them by him, but I mean,
like the wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers, like I forgot how many different receivers there were that were like not bad. Like
you mentioned Javon Walker in the group chat, and I remembered he was a Packer, but I kind of for some reason remember him more as a Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
But
he didn't go there till later in his career.
Yeah, that was later in his career. Yeah.
He was a stud at Green Bay, right? Like he was like, really
was. It blows your mind. Plus, all the players who ended their careers with a team that I totally forgot about, like that happened
Eric
a lot.
Was the one you showed us. Yes. I had no recollection of him being a Falcon.
That 1993 Ultra Eric Dickerson with the Atlanta Falcons. That was the one I looked at. I'm like, the Falcons? I don't remember this at all. And as I would go through other players, there were so many guys like Thurman Thomas ending his career with the Dolphins. Like
that one I remember
that either.
That one I remembered. Yeah.
It's crazy how many, and I love those like random 1 year end of the career cards with a different team. So
who did Franco Harris end his career with?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Giants? I don't have a Franco Harris section, so I don't remember.
Seahawks. He was a Seahawk for a year. Yeah, there you go. Immaculate Grid. I haven't played in forever, but I used to use him quite a bit.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. We have talked many times about Kurt's card care and cleaning, altering, whatever you want to call it, of cards. Well, this week there was another big to-do, and even though I feel like we've beaten this horse dead, I think we need to talk about it because PSA actually had an official response to it. Turns out that the guy from Kurt's Card Care had a video on his Instagram. Kurt, I forget what his last name is. I apologize for that. But showing him soaking a 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson card for about 30 minutes. And it was in his order to PSA. There was a place, Tiffany Cards had called out on Twitter the fact that that card was graded a 2.5. They like showed markings on the card to identify it. And after they did that, PSA actually decertified not only that card, but every card in that order. This was a huge step. We haven't seen this before, but this opened a whole Pandora's box of opinions and differing opinions and fighting and boomers being called out. And I actually am kind of enjoying staying out of it and watching the reaction to it because it's actually mind-blowing to me. Like, I clearly agree with one side, but I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I'm realizing that side that I think is clearly right, regardless of how I feel, is going to be changing over the next 10 years or so. I don't like the direction it's going, but I'm not going to be able to stop it. So should I get to the reaction from the official statement from PSA? This was from the Ryan Hodge guy. We still don't know how to say his last name. Is it Hodge? Did we decide on that?
Let us know. Hoge. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll know.
Yeah.
Hoge, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, he said, we are fine with blowing on or using a dab of water or microfiber cloth to clean a card. But when you are doing much more, we are not on board. And then he went on and talked about the financial obligations they have, and they have to stand by the card because they have the guarantee, which is a very legitimate point. To the people who are upset with PSA for, randomly, it's not random. There was a reason they decertified this. It's no different than somebody who trimmed a card saying, "Oh yeah, look, I trimmed this card. I'll make a video of it and show it." They don't know what's going to happen if you soak a card. What's that card going to look like in a case 10 years from now? Is a stain going to come back? Are the creases going to come back? We don't know. As much as people want to act like they know, we don't know for sure. So I totally understand PSA saying we have a financial obligation here to people. So if we know, we have to decertify it. And they're absolutely right. I do understand to a point that the people are saying, yeah, but like there are probably a lot of others in there. True. There are probably way more. We've been saying this, way more cards in cases now altered than ever before, and people don't know about it. I personally don't think that makes it right, but this is where we are. But if PSA knows and you're clearly showing them you did this, like, you're an idiot for showing them. I don't feel badly for you that your card got decertified. Joe, I think you have some points on this you want to make. So I've said enough for now. Go ahead. I'll sit back and look.
Well, first off, I want to say that I complimented PSA at the beginning of the episode and kind of joked around that they might have switched staff with SGC because, it was kind of really good customer service. Did they switch like higher ups too? I mean, this feels like something SGC would take the lead on, but I got to commend. Here's the thing, regardless of what you think about the decision, PSA is the industry leader. People the wrong way. People who, the comic book comparison, CGC is saying cleaning and pressing is okay. They're the industry leader. They have decided that. PSA is the industry leader of card grading, has decided it's not okay to alter cards or clean cards. I'm putting that in quotes for the audio listeners because it's bullshit. It's not just cleaning cards, right? So if the industry leader is saying you can't do this, then you should not be doing it. And if you get caught, you're going to get decertified. And the financial obligations they have with their guarantee, I didn't even think about that until Dustin, the sports card dad, mentioned it on a video that he did recently. And I'm like, shit, that's it was in the statement as well, but like, that's just a really good point. It didn't really strike me until I heard it that way. Here's my thing. At the end of the day, if you are okay with this, you are not a collector. If you are okay with people cleaning their cards, trying to get something over on a grading company, they're not just trying to get something over on a grading company. They are trying to get something over on a collector. They are trying to alter cards to make them look better, to then sell them to someone else to make more money. They are not the ones they are not the final destination for this card. So where's my number one camera? Right here? Okay.
Yeah, right there.
If you are okay with Kurt's Card Care Cleaning and are bitching about what PSA is doing, you are not a true collector. I hate when people gatekeep and say who's a true collector and who's not. You're
doing it,
but I'm going to do it right now. You're not. If you are okay with this, you are not. And I applaud PSA. It's weird to compliment them twice in one day. And you must know it's legitimate if I'm complimenting them because I hate them. And they stood up and said, no more. We are not going any further with this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? For those people who are saying, oh, well, there's cards out there that were probably cleaned and they're not decertifying those. I mean, like in the words of the great Captain Jean-Luc Picard, the line must be drawn here, no further. it's a big deal now, and it sucks that there are cards that are out there that are not going to get decertified because they made it through. That sucks. But you know what? What's the alternative? Oh, we just won't do anything for anything then? Like, oh, we let some cards through? Oh, well, we can never fix the problem. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Whoever thinks that.
Yeah, there are already some that are altered that are in cases. So why worry about it now?
Why bother?
I said to
that's a bad defense.
Right.
I said to an idiot on Twitter recently, I said, unless you have a time machine and could go back to PSA before they graded the Honus Wagner 00001 and warn them about card trimming and alteration and stuff like that, there's no like back in time fix to this. You just have to say, okay, here's the line in the sand. Today is that day. Anything going forward, that's what we're doing, and deal with it.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know if you know the answer to this, but how long has cleaning and pressing been accepted in comic books?
I would say
was there a time where it was like, oh God, no, you can't do that?
You know, I honestly don't know. That's a good question, though. I'll reach out to friend of the channel, Very Gary. Maybe he might know. There's a couple of folks out there that I've talked to. I mean, it's been going on for at least like 10 years, right? I mean, we know that. So, but by the way, some cleaning and pressing in comic books, there is they call it reversion, where some of the things that they fixed come back, and they're still in slabs. You know, like, but if you send it in to get reslabbed, they'll look at it and they'll knock the grade down. You know, so keep that in mind too. Like I would love to get these reslabbed if they have it like a Silver Surfer special label. But then I think, oh shit, my 7.5 might come back up 5.5 because maybe the pressing had some reversion in it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to take that risk.
I wouldn't.
First off, I just want to say that I love your people I have a beef with on Twitter voice. It was amazing. crack both of us up. Like that's definitely going to be coming back, I hope. Next thing, Mike, you put it perfectly when you said Pandora's box, because there's so many tentacles to this thing. Like they can go back and decertify any card. They can decertify any card they want now. Like that stuff. Have they ever done that before with decertifying a card? Or is that this first time ever? They have. Okay.
They have found out ones after the fact were not real, and they have decertified them. Yeah, happens quite a bit actually.
And SGC has done that too. I think they've graded some fake Pokemon cards. Like when they find out something slipped through and they have evidence that it has. I think most grading companies, if not all of the major ones, have decertified stuff. Yeah.
I think that for me, one of my things that I keep saying, that one of my big arguments for people who do this kind of stuff with their cards is, if you're doing it in your basement and you don't want anybody to find out, then it's probably wrong. Like if you're trying to get something past somebody. But if these people are doing it and then making a video about it and showing it to the world, I don't think a lot of people care anymore. They're totally okay with it. Like,
they are.
Like you said, Mike, it seems like we're like more people are moving toward that. Like the wave is moving toward that as opposed to away from it. So we're like you said, we're kind of the dinosaurs here being upset about it. Even though I agree with Joe that a true collector would not want this stuff done to their cards. Like that's not the history of that card. Shouldn't be include dunking it in water for half an hour. I mean,
to that point, EP, like I watched Neo's video about this, and I watched Dustin's video about this, and to read the comment sections of both are like, it clearly shows you like, okay, Neo's people that are watching him are very acceptable about this. His comment section was pretty much all pro doing this, and like, oh, PSA being stupid for decertifying it. Dustin's video was much more, now his wasn't like totally like the collector side of it saying it's wrong, but there were a lot more of those comments in there. So like it says to me there is clearly a section of the hobby that they don't care about. Like, and we've talked about this. It's a lot bigger than I ever realized it was. And as the dinosaurs like us die off, this is going to be the normal way they think about it. Right or wrong, what's it matter? Nobody cares what I think, whether it's right or wrong. Like, we're each going to decide for ourselves, but clearly it's not going to go back to everybody going, well, this is wrong.
Well, the problem is we're not each just deciding for ourselves, because we don't know if a card's been altered or not. Like, we don't know. So they're deciding for me that if I want to buy a card, I need to take the chance that that card's been altered. So that decision is being made for someone else. So I have a big issue with that. To your point, EP, about, you know, if you're going to do something in your basement, it's probably not on the up and up. Exactly right. Like, if there's no problem with it, with altering cards, if there's no problem with it, put it in your eBay listing. Put it on Twitter next to the card that you're trying to sell for $1,000. Say, oh, I soaked this in Kurt's Card Care for an hour. It should grade a 10 unless they catch it. Like, like, what are we doing here? Like, so as a collector, as someone who just wants to buy cards and enjoy them, and the story of the card, EP talks about that all the time, the story of the card, that decision is being taken away from me, because I don't know for a fact that card was not altered. And that's a real shitty place to be, because now what can you trust? Like, we talk about this all the time. Oh, you can't trust autos. You can't trust slabs. You can't trust a card's been like, what can you trust short of opening up? You can't trust opening up wax. Maybe there's G.I. Joe packs in there. Like, what can you trust in the hobby today? And that's a really, really sad state of affairs. And I don't like, I get what you're saying, Mike, that, you know, us old people at some point, we're going to be in the minority on this. I really don't think collectors will ever be in the minority on this. I think collectors truly believe that this is wrong and shouldn't happen and don't want those cards in their collection. I think I've made this comment about flipping before, like, oh, look how healthy the hobby is. All these people going to shows and buying stuff and doing this and that. I don't know, though. Like, do we ever see in those videos the end user of the card, the end collector? I don't think we do. It's just a shell game.
Is there an end collector? Like, is there even an end collector anymore?
Because at that point, it's a pyramid scheme. It's just a pyramid scheme at that point.
That's a legitimate question. Are there end users of modern,
or what's the percentage?
Yeah.
What's the percentage of actual end users?
I feel like a lot of it is people buying to flip, and like, oh, this guy's going to have a great year. His card's going to go up. Or, oh, I'm getting this like below what I can sell it for. Like, I feel like that pushes a lot of the sales in the hobby. And between that and like the gambling aspect of it, from like repacking, like, we say it all the time. I feel like this whole hobby thing is really built on a house of cards right now. And at some point, it's all going to come tumbling down. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money.
One more pointing piece. Sorry, real quick. You can either call it a shell game or a pyramid scheme, because I will watch videos, and admittedly, you know, for some reason, I say this all the time. I watch Roth cards. I don't know why. He is not my type of collector. But when he buys and sells cards, and I just enjoy looking at cards, so that's probably the reason. But when he buys and sells cards, he's buying and selling them to other people like him. He's not saying, oh, hey, here's this guy who's this huge Tom Brady collector. This card's never going to leave his collection. He's going to display it. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. This is his Grail card. It's never like that. It's like, oh, I'm going to go over to this table, try and buy this card, and then put it on Instagram to try and sell it to another flipper. Like, at the end of the day, is anyone actually holding these cards for longer than a week? And if they're not, they don't care what happens to the card after possible reversion or whatever, because it's not even in their collection anymore. They've already sold it. It's been sold 3 or 4 times before that happens, at least.
Well, I said, complimented Mike about the Pandora's box, and this is another one of those like tentacles that you open it up and it came flying out of there. Is that, you know, like Joe said, PSA drew a line in the sand, said this is it right here, right now, and that is a huge stance for PSA, because of they had to know they're going to get blowback from the people that we said about that it seems like half the hobby's okay with the people doing these things, these cards, and they were going to take blowback. People are still going to use them because they're going to make more money when they have a PSA slab than they are other ones, and people are still going to like do this, the underhanded or the cleaning cards, all that sort of stuff. They're still going to do that because they can make more money off of it. But PSA making the statement should say something to the true collectors, the collectors that do want the cards. Like they're doing what they can to stop this kind of stuff. And so I'm also going to compliment them because of that, taking that stance. It was going to be a tough stance for them for sure, because they're probably going to lose. They're probably not going to lose a ton of money, but there's probably going to be some people that are pretty upset about it, right?
What are the people going to do? They're still first off, those people are still going to try and get the cards through PSA. Let's be fair. Like they're going to try, and if they get caught, they'll be like, okay, maybe I'll send it to BGS, or maybe I'll send it at that point. Maybe I'll try and sell it raw, whatever. Because what are the odds that, no offense to CGC, what are the odds that if you sell it on eBay raw and CGC has to authenticate it, what are the chances that they're going to not authenticate it? It's the card in the picture, it's a card on the listing. They'll figure out a way to screw the system. PSA is still going to get the business, though. I think PSA looks around and be like, come at me, bro. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to send your cards to us. You're going to deal with it. And maybe some slip through, but we're going to try and keep that from happening, because I think they agree, Mike, this House of Cards thing, if there's not an end collector, at some point, the house falls down,
Mm-hmm.
Give me a percentage. Is there a percentage of people this will deter from doing the cleaning stuff? I think it's like 0%, maybe 1%, right? Like 0%, right?
I think everybody already doing it already knows the risk of doing it, and they're okay with that. Like, EP, you hate the term asset, but this is clearly what the card market is for a big number of people. Like, they don't have like nostalgia, like, fueling their purchases. Like, they're not, oh, I had this. It'll be interesting to see, 20 years from now, if they even have that. But this is why they're called assets, because most of the people in that end of the hobby don't care about the end user. There may not even be an end user. You're just constantly flipping an asset back and forth between other people who like to flip assets. And, that's why they call them an asset, because that's actually what they are to them. That's all that it is to them.
Yeah.
You can just like emotionlessly buy and sell stocks. And I think that's how they're looking at this.
No, absolutely.
For folks like us, and probably most of the people that watch and comment on our stuff probably don't feel that way. They're probably more emotional about their cards than these folks are. One point before you move on, Mike, since you invoked it a little bit, the folks that watch Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics, it seems like he has turned from like what I would consider a true collector to someone who's more interested in the buying and selling assets space of the hobby. So it's kind of like you was it confirmation bias. So it doesn't shock me. I wouldn't consider him a true collector. So it doesn't shock me that the folks that are commenting in his feel the same way he does about this. Like, hey, I'm just buying and selling cards. I don't really care about them. So that doesn't surprise me. Where Dustin, who gets a lot of blowback from some folks not being a true collector. First off, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I call bullshit on that. Anyone who collects Stranger Things cards is a true collector, right? It doesn't surprise me that folks in his area are more like that. And also the finance, used to be the personal finance ad. The financial part of it through PSA, I think a lot of people agreed with too. So it's kind of like someone more conservative watching Fox, someone more liberal watching MSNBC, kind of how I feel about those two channels right now. People who are less true collectors are going to watch Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics. People who are more true collectors are going to watch Sports Card Dad and us.
Well, and I mean, clearly, if you're a content creator, if you choose the asset class and the investor side, you're going to get more views, you're going to make more money, you're going to be known as a bigger name in the hobby for whatever that's really worth. So, some people's egos just lead them to go down that path because they know that this will be better for them. People will know them and say their name more often.
People will know who they are. Yeah, people will know who they are.
Absolutely, they'll know who they are. But, well, the next place I want to take this though is like, what if we're moving into a world where you can just do this stuff with Kurt's Card Care? What's the purpose of grading? Like, but seriously, like, why are people even going to be grading? You're just the end result. If you look at this, you're going to fix all the problems with cards. You're okay with that. You send them to PSA. They're just going to grade everything a 10 because now everything's going to be perfect. What in the hell is the point of grading? Like, I understand why PSA has to draw a line in the sand, because there's the law of diminishing returns on this. If we have more and more and more cards all being perfect, those cards are all going to be worth less and less and less. Like, I really want the people who are big supporters of the Kurt's Card Care to explain to me, what is the purpose of grading if everything is going to grade a 10? You're just paying somebody to put it in a holder for you. It shouldn't have any kind of value, and it will lose value. Everything will lose value if we can just fix every problem with a card. I don't know what the end game is for people with this. I feel like this thought process, though, and the people that feel this way, is going to lead to the eventual downfall of grading. Like, as with anything in any hobby, like, I feel like the grading thing has grown so much, everybody leans on it so much, that eventually it's going to have a fall. Like, that's just how industry works, how business works. I can't see a PSA 10 20 years from now being the same value added to a card as it is now. So, like, what are you accomplishing here? What is the point of grading?
Right. So to your point about, if everything's going to be a 10, nothing's a 10 kind of, philosophy, it kind of reminds me of, when you said the diminishing returns thing of everything being a 10, it reminds me of 1990 Marvel Universe. Okay. Follow me on this one. The card, like, you would assume, oh, Spider-Man, most popular character, him in a PSA 10 is probably the most valuable card. No. So many have been graded that they've lost a ton of value. So people are actually looking for the ones that the pop count is like 1 or 2. So it's some random ass villain or some random greatest battle or whatever, because the pop report is showing that that's a low pop card. Right. So I kind of seen that with your analogy here, Mike, where a lot of folks are cleaning these cards, getting them perfect, sending them off. The pop report balloons, right? And it's like now every card is a Zion Prism rookie, because there's so many of them that no one cares at that point. To your question about why people do it, and in the hobby, and again, not I think there's a very large segment of our viewers who don't grade cards. Like, we've had that in the comments before. Yeah. So I don't think this will offend many, if any, of our viewers. But the reason people do it is they're trained seals. The reason people will keep doing that is because, well, that's what I should be doing. It's, like, that's their mentality.
There's that voice. There's that Twitter.
I mean, I have cards. I should grade them, right? Like, so I think a lot of people
just got better
that way. Yeah, you like
better.
That?
Yeah,
a little laugh at the end really took it up a level. Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like that. They are trained seals. I pull a card out of a pack, I clean it, I send it off to PSA, I get my 10, I sell it, rinse, repeat.
I should have a pen and paper here. There's like multiple things I want to touch on, but
that's why I wrote them down.
I'll start with my biggest point, and that is, like, I'm probably going to do an extra innings about this. Maybe it's not a full show, but we'll see. But it's the argument on this is very, very similar to the people who think every card that comes out of a pack of cards should be a 10, right? Like, there's no what's the point in grading if that's the case? There should be an 8, and then a 9 is a really good copy of that card, and then a 10 is an absolute much better copy of that card. Like, that's the whole point of grading. And if you're getting say a pack out of, or a card out of a pack, and it's an 8, and you can turn that into a 10, then that is even, like, that's escalating that situation even more in people's eyes. And they think, oh, I can just buy these packs and turn everything into gold, everything into a 10. To one of the previous points, I think it was Mike was saying it. I'm selling at shows. People come up like they're always thinking to themselves, "Oh, well, I need to get this below comps so I can make money off of it." The same thing, Joe, you're saying with the low pop cards. They're looking for them because they think, "Oh, if I can get a low pop one, then I can sell it for more." And that money is driving so much that again, like Mike said, we're the dinosaurs. We're gonna die off, and like when we're gone, just gonna be everybody like getting their assets, looking for their low pops, looking for buy cards under comps so they can sell them at above comps.
So unless the house of cards fall, there's nothing. Oh, we ruined this hobby. We'll move on to something else, right?
Well, I have the solution.
Go ahead.
Do you have the Kurt's Card Care solution?
No.
No. Okay.
Fanatics, Michael Rubin, call me. I'll talk to you about this. What you need to do is you need to intentionally start printing cards off center. Like make them a good 75% of the print run off center. I'm not talking a little bit. I'm talking off center.
Yeah.
And then that way you'll be able to keep the value of the PSA cards up, and these people that are spending a lot of money will continue to do it. All that's going to happen is they're going to go to Twitter and do Joe's Twitter voice and complain about the card being off center.
I mean, why is the card off center?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Joe. But thank God that Kurt's Card Care hasn't found a way to center a card yet, because this is how
you have to call Evan Mathis for that, Mike.
You weren't supposed to bring that up instead of just ruining the whole case. But yeah, you gotta print the cards off center. Show these people, keep them valuable, and then when people pull them out, I'm going to be the guy on Twitter going, "Oh, well, if you want your cards to be valuable, some of these are going to have to be that way." So yeah.
I mean, 100. You're actually 100% right. As much as we're joking, I mean, obviously they're not going to do that. Though, what
sad but true.
What shirt are you wearing, Mike? I knew it.
Call me, Michael. Call me.
But like I've made this comment about, and EP and I disagree about Panini versus Fanatics and all this stuff. I make this point. I make this point about our weekly tiff. I make this point about Panini all the time. It's like you can't always have the best players sign cards. Like autos of good players are worth more because there's a chance you'll get a shit player in your box. That's just how
a really
it works.
Good chance.
Yeah, really good chance. But like same thing with grading. If you open up a pack and everything's coming out of 10, or you can turn it into a 10, then what's the point? What oh, I want the best version. Well, if they're all the best version, what are we looking for then? Right. Exactly. It's mind-blowing to me. And again, I hate to gatekeep, but if you're a true collector, you should not be okay with this. You shouldn't be. Full stop.
Well, you are the gatekeeper.
I am the gatekeeper.
But let me move on here. One of my real joys in hosting these shows we do on here is when I can get my two co-hosts here to maybe get into a heated debate. And if there is ever anything that can do that, it's typically Topps versus Panini. Not that he is really a Panini fanboy, but that guy down there is a huge Topps fanboy.
And Panini hater.
Laying that out, I want to throw it to EP because we're going to talk a little bit about the prices of Bowman baseball this year.
Wait, Mike, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get my comfy position here.
Get comfy.
All right. Wait, hold on. Let me get my coffee.
I'm going to throw this out there that you brought it to my attention, EP. I didn't even find this out on my own. You brought this up, to your credit.
I'm not afraid. Not afraid.
That the 2024 Bowman baseball jumbos are $100 a box more on pre-sale than what you paid last year. So I'm just going to turn the microphone over to you. I'm going to sit back and let you talk a little bit about that.
Freaking Panini. I tell you, I cannot believe what they did to this hobby with the prices of cards. It's just terrible. So anyhow, Bowman baseball box, $100 more than what I paid last year. Same configuration, same autos. There's there are some really good players in there, but like there's no. I feel like the Joe Jones excitement last year was higher than this year's. So $100 seems like a lot. I also think like the hobby boxes are $300 a box. And I want to say they were like 200 last year, or maybe 250. But so I think even the regular hobby boxes are more expensive as well.
Odd. I thought they would be going down in price, Joe.
They don't go down in price ever.
Oh, really?
Only Panini stuff goes down because they don't have the
Oh, okay. But they stay the same, but they're getting more expensive. I'm just going to throw this out there to the viewers that EP, I feel like on more than one occasion, you've made the claim that Fanatics probably won't be raising the prices of stuff when they take over all the licenses. Yet,
when you look, okay,
let me finish. What you're telling me now seems to be contradictory to that. Are you saying that they won't have to raise prices because the prices will already be at Panini pricing before they take over all the licenses?
EP's stance was never wrong, technically, because they're raising prices before they take over.
Okay.
So they don't have to raise the prices after. That chess checkers, man. Chess checkers. That's what's happening here.
The issue is when you guys say about raising prices, you're picturing Panini Prism like they're gonna make jumbos $1,000 next year or in 2026 or when they have everything. And I don't think that's
how much are the jumbos
600
this year? 600. How much were they last year?
500.
So 2026 would be 2 years. So they'll only be 800, not 1,000 then by then.
Sure, but
their current price.
No. But you guys make it sound like they're going to take $100 boxes of cards and turn them into $800 boxes of cards.
How much was
like that?
How much
it's going to be gradual.
Baseball when you bought it like back in like the late 90s?
I don't know if I probably bought one box back then.
It was like $50 a box, maybe 60. Now we're
cards
up to 600, but they're not using the price.
As much as I
make it make sense, Joe.
I was gonna say like this. It's usually me and EP's fight, and Mike was like jumping in. So I was like, I don't know if I want to pile on to sweet little EP here. I mean, I will, but no. You know what it reminded me of when you said freaking Panini at the front? I thought the direction you were going to go is because of their practices and having their boxes be so expensive. Fanatics is following suit, and it reminded me. This is a funny little side non-card story. Years and years and years ago, I think it was when the U.S. was in the World Cup. Like I want to say it was like 12 years ago at this point. We didn't, or no, there was a game. There was a friendly.
2012.
It might have been. So we didn't get that game for some reason. Our cable package did not have that game, and my loving partner was very upset with me about that. And I go, how is this my fault? And he goes, well, we don't get Verizon here. We can only have Comcast. I go, again, how is this my fault? And he goes, well, you work for Pittsburgh City Council and they won't let Verizon in. I go, I don't have a vote. Like, I don't like, what are you talking about? He was doing everything he could to turn it into my fault. EP, I kind of feel you're doing the same thing here with Topps prices, trying to make it Panini's fault. I will say this, the Prism equivalent, right? So Prism out this year is like $1,000 a box. And you're saying, well, Topps Fanatics wouldn't do that. The problem is, though, it's not a true apples to apples because I don't think there's a card in the Bowman product that is a CJ Stroud 1-of-1 Prism, right?
I mean,
like in terms of like, because you guys tell me this all the time that Bowman, specifically Bowman baseball, is about prospecting. So there's not always that like, holy shit, I just made a life check. That's why I'm not giving them a pass, but I think that's why people are more okay paying $1,000 for Prism football or Prism basketball because of that life-changing potential, which is not, I mean, it's lightning striking you 3 times before you're actually able to get that card. With Bowman baseball being $600, only $400 less, and in some cases only $200 less, and it's mostly a prospecting product. I mean, I actually think Bowman being 600 is worse than Prism being 800 to 1,000.
I mean, wasn't there a bounty on the Drew Jones 101 last year? I'm pretty sure there was a Superfractor Drew Jones bounty at some point. Like that, so there are cards like that in the Bowman product. I don't think there are several prospects in this year's product, but I don't think there's anything that had the like as much energy as we had with Drew Jones last year. But also we're also talking about jumbos. We're also talking about jumbos compared to hobby boxes. So, and I you know.
Do you think this is where it ends, though?
What does that
that's
mean?
my
absolutely
question.
not. No. I've been saying that I think they're going to raise it gradually, but I think you guys think that the second they get the football, they're going to make everything be $800. Right?
And looking at this, I don't think they will either. I'm actually retracting my stance.
I don't think I've ever made the point that it's just boom going to be from here to here. I think they know what it's going to be like when they're there. And I even said when I said on my hot takes about that they will shortly after. So like I not going to be that they were 500 and then they're going to be 1,000, but they're going to be 600 next year and 700 after, and then maybe 900, and then maybe like they're going to get there. So like really, I mean, they're doing it either way. Like they're going to be the only game in town. I just not to side with Joe because I hate to do that, but
I'm
like
right so often though, Mike. Why would you?
But they're gonna make as much money as they can because we don't have an option. So I mean, I know it's horrible to call out a corporation saying that they're probably going to gouge us and make as much money as possible because they're the only game in town. That never happens with corporations.
What episode is this? 108. This is episode 108. I think I've been saying it for 108 episodes. That corporations love making money.
No, I'm just like I'm not defending corporate America. Like you guys make it out to me like this like idiot. No, F you guys.
Yes, we win. Woo! Okay,
I was waiting for either F you guys or we'll agree to disagree. Either one would have been fine. I would have enjoyed either one equally.
Yes, we broke him. All right, well, let's move it along. Darren Lavell's Collect Media had a story about Michael Jordan doing a private signing of 10 1986 Fleer rookie cards. That's strange enough because he doesn't sign. He doesn't do signings. He is an upper deck guy, so he doesn't usually sign the Fleer card. But not only did he sign 10 cards, he apparently did it for free. And the person that he signed them for had a PSA representative fly down to Florida where the signing took place to witness the signing and to crack out the cards and regrade them on the spot because there were apparently 6 PSA 10s that he signed. Wow. And they cracked them out. Apparently there were a bunch of 9s. There were the 6 10s. He signed them. They were still 10s with 10 autographs. And he also inscribed 3 of the 10s, which were also still a 10 after. So I would love to know the details. Like,
I got.
I think we're on the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me know. Like, wow.
So, how much money did Jordan lose with this guy playing poker?
I was saying golf. I was going to say how much in golf.
What golf? I mean, something like Jordan bet him and lost, and it must have been a lot. Like when you said he did it for free, I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
No,
because first off, he is notoriously known as kind of a money hungry guy, and he's notoriously known as a gambler. There is no doubt in my mind that something happened somewhere, golf or craps or whatever. And that was him saying, I don't want to give you cash for this. Is there a way to do it? And the guy's like, I got a great idea.
And he
But-
increased the values by millions and millions.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the autographed 1010s, I think, are valued at around $1 million. Did I see?
Holy crap,
A
dude.
piece. And
Holy
the
crap.
inscribed ones, they say, could be $2 million. So
As
you're
they should
talking
be.
about like $10 million worth of value on these cards.
Man, that skins game must have gotten crazy. Just real quick about the actual cards themselves. I mean, that's another reason why I like Jordan knows his value. There are people that just won't sign cards because they know. Didn't you say Hulk Hogan doesn't sign the All Wrestling All Stars cards anymore? There's certain people that won't sign those because
He
they
does.
know it.
He
Does
signs
he?
everything, but he does it himself at his
Oh, okay.
shop and makes a ton of money off
And makes a
it.
ton of money. So the
Yeah.
fact that, you know, most people of that level know how much this is going to increase the value of the cards, that makes me know for a fact that Jordan owed this guy money for sure. The actual value of the cards, absolutely, they should be worth that. I mean, it's very rare where I'll say, "Oh yeah, I can." This one, I understand. I get it.
Yeah, for as much as I agree that there's probably some sort of bet happened or something was lost and that this is what will make good. I really do want to know the details, like who it was that he lost the bet to that ended up leading to this.
It can only be a certain number of people because there are only a certain number of collectors that have that many PSA 10 Michael Jordans. Mm-hmm. So there is a small list, and apparently he must have lost money to one of those people on that list.
Was it Barkley? Was Barkley? Him and Barkley were doing.
It might have been Probstein. Maybe he lost.
I honestly, like when you said it had to be someone who had that many. Probstein has a safe full. Yeah, that's where my mind went to. So yeah, I could definitely see that, or some private collector who we don't even know about because I mean they're rich and they want to keep it quiet. I wonder what they're going to do with the cards. That's the more interesting story to me. I mean, you increase these cards by a factor of 100, you know, like you increase these cards' value by so much. Like, do you sit on them? I mean, it's one of those few instances where if you have the money to do and to get Jordan to do that, if you have the money, you don't need the money. And these are like once in a lifetime situation until Jordan hears how much he just increased the value. Then he's going to start charging people like $10,000 to do it or something.
Well, like Mike said, I think when he said like he knows what like he probably knows what he did with did to those cards, right?
Yeah,
like he knows what he did to them. Yeah, sure. And I really hope that like then these are trophies for like you said, Joe, trophies to these people with this ridiculous amount of money. Like I really hope though, I kind of hope that one shows up somewhere at the National. And like I think we would seek it out just to see it, like we did at the 10 mantle or whatever. Like I think we'd try to seek it out, just try to find it. And,
for sure.
If it shows up.
I'm wondering, what are the odds that any of those that were 10s, considering who was in the room, would have not been regraded to 10? Like
half a percent. That's kind of what I thought. Yeah,
like the guy cracking.
I'm gonna say that's a 9 now. You're not getting out of that room.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap things up this week with Mario Alejandro at baseball card, the Spanish baseball blog. Let me do this right this time. It's his Twitter handle is at baseball blog, right? Baseball card blog. Whatever.
I think it's baseball card
Look
blog.
for him.
I think it's Andrew Whitworth. Is it Andrew at Andrew Whitworth?
I don't know. We don't know anything. It's a long show. But anyway, he shared a video of Ryan Garcia, I believe the boxer, signing boxing gloves and was kind of like, is this all the care that goes into it? It showed in the video, he's just kind of like grabbing one, signing it, and throwing it over in a box and just throwing it over and over and over again. He took a little bit of criticism because like people in the comments really were like, well, what do you expect the guy to do? Like, I'm kind of that. It's like, we don't really have any expectation with all the autographs people are signing, the athletes are signing, that they're putting any kind of care or dedication into doing that. Like, look at the labels that have initials on it. Some of them have just one letter on it. Like, we shouldn't be surprised like that a boxer has a whole bunch there and just throwing it in a box. It's a boxing glove too. I don't think it's going to ruin it by throwing it, but still, like, it's something you don't really think about, like the actual physical act of these athletes having to sign all these autographs that we consume out of the product anymore. It's just kind of nuts, but you can understand why they're just.
So a couple of things. One, man, did that tweet not age well after he said that boxer was going to get knocked out later that night, and Garcia ended up winning. So that kind of
Joe Day, boxing expert,
yeah. Right? I laid out some cash. Don't worry. No. The second thing I want to point out, when he showed that video, I was like, what point are you trying to make here? Like, this is the most care I've seen out of someone signing cards as an athlete, I think, ever. Because number one, we never really see people signing stuff, like, unless you're physically there at a signing. Like, we don't see the behind the scenes of Anthony Richardson signing or not signing certain cards, George Pickens signing or not signing certain cards, like Luka,
Patrick Stewart,
P-Stew. We don't see Luka's mom or Dak Prescott's auto pen. Like, we don't see those. So, like, actually physically seeing him sign those gloves actually made me happy. I'm like, he's actually signing those. That's pretty cool. And he actually touched the gloves. Did he want him to put them on? Like, what? I need you to box a full 12 rounds with each one of these gloves. Just switch them out every 10 seconds. Like, it's just, first, dumb take. Just a really, really dumb take. I will say I do have a line on someone who signed cards for Rittenhouse for the Star Trek for season 1, actually. But I reached out to him. We follow each other on Instagram, and I'm going to ask him a ton of questions about the process. I think it'd be like a hoot and a holler, just to talk about it, because I want to see, like, do you get a sheet of your cards? Are they cut up already? How does this work? Because we don't really know. So unless, I don't think he has an NDA or anything, he's like, yeah, sure, send your questions over. I actually pulled a couple relics of his, and I'm mailing them to him to actually inscribe an autograph. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are multiple things here, like the actual video, like the giant basket full of gloves that he's pulling gloves out of to sign. Like, you think he's got to sign all of those? And a couple people in the comments that were kind of defending the initial take were like, oh, he did a couple no looks. I'm like, these guys are like, they practically sign. They probably they can autograph you blindfolded. Like they because they.
I can sign my name blindfolded.
Right.
I don't.
Right. And it's not like he needs to fit it in like a sticker. Like, he's got an entire glove to write his name on, and then and then like you said, like throwing the glove into a box of other gloves, like, it's not going to damage anything. And I like you guys said, I appreciate the video more than I was upset by it. There's somebody standing there watching, making sure he's doing it. Like, I'm assuming that was the representative from something watching to witness the autographs happening. We're actually seeing him autograph stuff, and we're seeing that he's autographing these things, and he's picking them up with his hands with a marker in his hand. And I agree with you guys 100%. Like, I was actually felt better about watching it than I did being upset by it.
Yeah, and I like Mario's content. It's at Baseball Card Blog. Let me get it right finally. But, like, he has a lot of great content, and he is very collector oriented. It was just a bad take. We agree on that. So, but, like, not ripping him, because I do enjoy the stuff he puts out on Twitter, and he does a really good job, and he calls out a lot of the crap that the manufacturers try to get away with. So, but yeah, like,
too.
Yeah, he does. And it's very similar type of content to what we like. So, but, like, I've seen a video of John Cena doing that too, like, and CM Punk as well, where they're doing signings and have a stack of stuff there. There's a person that pulls it away and after each signature, and they're just like looking up and talking, but not looking. Like, it's just, I don't look when I sign my signature on a check. I'm just like, whatever. It's a hand motion for me at this point in my life. So, nothing surprising to me. Like, that one was less egregious than probably a lot of them, like, especially the newer players. Like, some of the chicken scratch you see on those stickers. Like, come on,
George Pickens. It looked like just a line with a dot. Like, what are you doing?
Like, what was it?
I don't need your like signing your will type of signature, but geez, a little effort wouldn't be terrible.
Right.
The only thing that upset me about that video was maybe the autographs, because I don't know how they take to like that fabric, like maybe getting smudged as they're being thrown. That's the only, I'm like, maybe that would bother me, but other than that, I mean, I just didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, we'll get a little card care stuff and like just wipe it around the edges and get rid of the smudge. It'll be good.
Smart. We'll
yeah, that's all I got for you this week, guys. I think we've talked about it all, right? Do we have anything else? Anybody? Anything really important need to get off your chest before we close things up? Not you, Joe.
If you are okay with Kurt's card care, you are not a true collector. One last time for the people in the back.
Don't forget to put your Star Trek questions in the
questions
comments
below.
No,
in the
not
comments
Star
below.
Trek.
Yes.
We do not want Star Trek. I am not going to do a Q&A about Star Trek. That is not happening. You're going to have to find another host.
We're getting so many Star Trek questions.
You totally are. on our secondary channel, EP, we'll do the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah. Start that up now. All right, guys. That was a fun chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.